Alright, so I'm making a dinner, right? Every component of the dish I'm going to be making a video for. So I'm going to be needing some reductions, right? So here I have a balsamic reduction, and here I have a red wine vinegar reduction, and we're going to be using that for the dinner. But I want to make sure you have the recipes for it, right? I know you're going to enjoy it. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Shrashira. That's the best elevator music I ever heard. Alright, so for our first reduction, it's going to be a balsamic reduction, right? So we have 3/4 of a cup of balsamic vinegar here, and some honey. Now we're going to be using a couple tablespoons of honey, okay? And we're going to reduce this until it's a nice thick syrup, right? So let's get to doing that now. So what we're going to do now, we're going to turn the heat on, put on medium, right? We're going to add our balsamic vinegar, okay? Then add it in, and then we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of honey. You know I love my honey, so let's get about 2 tablespoons in there, right? Or, you know, as little or as much as you want. It's completely up to you, okay? That in there. And now we're going to let this come to a simmer, or well, first to boil, and then we're going to reduce it down to simmer. And we want to reduce this by about 75%, so it's nice and thick. All right, the heat's starting to pick up. Let's get this stirred in. The sweetness of the honey's going in, and notice I'm using a non-stick pan, okay? I just find that when reducing sauces, I have better success when I use a non-stick pan. But, you know, it's up to you. It's completely up to you. So you see it's starting to rapidly boil now, right? Which is fine, right? Because we're trying to get rid of a lot of the water that's in here. So let that evaporation process happen. You know, you don't really want to try to rush it. And what's going to happen is the balsamic vinegar, the sweetness is going to come out as it reduces. And then, because I put honey in it, it's going to make it even more sweeter, right? And that's what you want. Just take your time. So you want to try to make this ahead of time if you can, right? And this is definitely something you can make a day ahead if you have to. Now it's not going to take long for this to reduce, right? It's on medium heat. Non-stick pan, nice. Non-stick pot, little saucepan. And you can see the little bubbles. Now, if you have been following my videos, you know when I reduce sauces, when the water starts to disappear, right, and you're just left with the sweetness and the sugars, it's going to look like lava, right? And that is when you want to take it off the heat, okay? Because at that point it's thick enough. You don't want to burn it. So you see it's been about, like you can see, it's been about 5 minutes. The bubbles are getting a little more aggressive. And again, this is at medium heat. So you can see as I pull across, you can see the bottom of the pot, right? We're almost there. We're almost there. And when this is done, we're going to let it cool down. And we're going to put it in a squeeze bottle, right? And you want to keep watching this, because if you don't, if you see my other videos, when you're reducing stuff and it's dealing with sugars, it will overflow. I mean, look at this. I haven't stirred for a few seconds, and look, it's growing. The bubbles are getting bigger, right? So we need to stir to pop those bubbles, get them under control, right? You don't want them to get all crazy, you know, where you need a chair and a whip to deal with them. You know, just watch them, and you'll be okay. Yeah, we're almost there. It doesn't take long at all. Look at the crazy bubbles. Look at that. Let's knock them down. And I'm using a spatula, a silicone spatula, because I want to be able to control what's on the side of the pot, on the saucepan that I want to move. You see this? As I'm sliding it, you can see the bottom of the pot, but it covers up quickly. We're almost there. Yep, this is nice. So if I had to guess, I would say we probably got about another 2 minutes. So I'll see you in 2 minutes. All right, this is done. I'm going to turn the heat off. Right? See how thick it is? Look at that. And that's what we want. And we're going to let this cool down. And we're going to put this into a squeeze bottle. Right? So that's the first one. So now, let's get to working on the red wine vinegar reduction. Okay, so we've done our balsamic reduction, right? This time we're going to use red wine vinegar. Now we have about a cup here, red wine vinegar, a quarter of a cup of white sugar, you know, granulated sugar, and a couple of teaspoons of cinnamon. Okay, let's get these in the pot and let's get this reduced. Okay, so we have our pot here, so medium as normal, right? Usual. I'm going to add our red wine vinegar, the 1 cup. Okay, we're going to add our quarter cup of white granulated sugar. Okay, and our 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now let's get this all mixed up. And just like before, we're going to reduce this by about 75%. Get this all mixed in. You want to make sure the sugar's melted, or dissolved, not melted, but dissolved. You know what I'm talking about. Work with me, folks. Work with me. All right, let's just go for a couple minutes and we'll be back. Get this all mixed in. Good to go. Couple minutes, see what happens. All right, so it's been a couple minutes. You see it's starting to percolate now. You can smell the cinnamon, right? The red wine vinegar. Now we just need to reduce this to a syrup. Oh, it smells so good. Oh man. Now remember, when you're reducing this, when you take it off the heat, okay, it's going to thicken up more as it cools down. So you want to keep that in mind as well. Yeah, look at it, percolating away, and that's what you want. It's getting there. See, I can move the spatula through it. Can't quite see the bottom of the pot yet. Bottom of the pan. So we still got a little bit to go. See that? If I go from the side, you can see it. But we need to go from the middle. When the middle, when you can see more of the pot on the middle, you know you're close. Right. So you can see, as I'm moving this spatula through it, you can kind of see the bottom of the pot a little bit. So we're getting closer. A lot of water is evaporating. That's what we wanted. Because we want this to be a thick sauce, right? All right, it's going good. Getting the bubbles, and you know what? as I'm looking at this, as I'm pulling, and you can see the bottom of the pot as I'm pulling. I think I'm gonna turn it off right now on this guy. Let it cool down. And we're gonna put this into a squeeze bottle. Let me turn the heat off. All right, so on the right side, we have our balsamic reduction. And on the left side, we have our red wine vinegar reduction, okay? These are gonna be very important for the salads. They taste good on meat too, don't get me wrong. A good steak needs to be powerful, right? So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. This is Shrashira, and I'm out.